What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Office Hours. Long time no see, guys. How are you?
It's been too long.
Wow. You guys,
I miss you guys.
You guys have really aged.
I know it was a rough 5 minutes, if we're being honest, between leaving that last link and coming over here, but we made it.
10 minutes.
It was
Simon.
10 minutes. Sorry. Time just flies when it's going really poorly on the toilet. Guys, I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, John, Luke, and Josh. This is Fantasy Football Office Hours, and we are here to answer any and all questions you have for the Front Yard Fantasy crew. They can be about fantasy, or they can be about Josh's giant coffee mug with apples on it. Whatever you want to ask us about.
You stole that from an adult. I cannot be convinced otherwise.
I've got 2 of these, so I would have to steal both.
Jail said you stole that from an adult. Sorry, Josh. You did not buy that mug. No.
We have so many mugs in this place. Like, I literally have like 12 coffee mugs down there, and we do not drink much coffee. I mean, we drink some coffee. I'm the only one that drinks coffee in the house.
We don't drink a lot of coffee. We drink some coffee. I mean, I drink a little bit of coffee, but only sometimes.
No one else other than me drinks coffee. I drink some tea as well. I like my teas, believe it or not.
Josh's favorite letter, T. And J Wall said, "Hey there, long time no see." Rick Butt said, "I don't spend enough time in the office, so I figured I would get here early." And Anthony, breaking news, guys. We just got the sleeper alert. The NFLPA determined Josh Gordon has successfully completed his NFL monitored treatment program and has recommended to the NFL that he be reinstated. He's still awaiting final approval from Commissioner Roger Goodell, but he is said to be ready to play and vaccinated. And I don't know about you guys, but if Josh Gordon's on a team, I'm picking him up. I don't care. Like, I know it's probably ill-advised. I know it's probably not a good move for fantasy, but when we've seen him on the field, even in like one game for the past couple of years, he's come out and looked good. So I'm picking Josh Gordon up. I love that, man. Do you guys care about Josh Gordon at all if he's reinstated and put on a team?
Maybe if I have like an extra spot on my roster, I might just throw him on just to see, but no, not super interested at all. I think there's many other more interesting people on the waiver wire this week.
I will not advise anyone to pick him up, but I'm doing it. But that is not my advice to anybody else. Sully, and he said, "I should have just stayed with y'all." Absolutely, Sully. And he said he was really hoping for a wardrobe change from us.
That would have been funny.
That would have been great. We should change clothes in between streams every day.
I'll throw my suit for office hours, you know.
That would be hilarious if, like, the 5 minute in between the shows, somehow, Josh, you switched into a suit. That would have been hilarious.
Oh, I could get a suit on in 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. I'll get it on. Yeah,
wow.
I'll get all. Hey, I've done this before. I used to wear a suit every day, pretty much.
With a tie.
Suit. With a tie and a tie. No, I used to wear a tie, button down, some kind of jacket. Not necessarily a suit every day, but like
you bow tie guy. You don't strike me as a bow tie guy.
No.
Bow tie pasta, not bow tie.
I've worn a bow tie before, but it's been a while. I'm not a bow tie
I was a bow tie guy in high school before.
You strike me as a bow tie.
Bow ties picked up.
Yes.
I was really
Simon
rocking the bow tie to
like
Model UN conferences, all of that. Then I got to college and like everyone was wearing bow ties. It lost some of the novelty to me, so I don't wear them as much anymore. But I still love a good bow tie. But you got to get the ones you tie yourself. Clip-ons are for cheaters. Tying a bow tie is the way to go. I had a high school teacher that probably a little bit creepy.
Is this office hours
his bow ties for him?
This is sometimes how office hours go. Sometimes you just gotta listen to your teacher.
You go in and the professor
he's just talking about bow ties. You're like, please teach me
physics. And JR's like,
pay.
I have a fucking question about fantasy football. JR, we'll jump into your question right now. He said guillotine league. For those of you watching that do not know what a guillotine league is, that means that the lowest scoring team is eliminated every week and all of their players hit the waiver wire. So JR has a question for us. So it is high stakes. What do you think I was going to say? Guillotine?
So a lot of people say, yep.
A lot of guillotine. Sermon, Mitchell, or Tyson Williams, which one of these guys would you prefer to have in a guillotine league? John Luke, do you have a preference here?
God, this sucks. I would probably go Tyson Williams.
Josh?
Oh, God, I don't know.
So it's a guillotine league, like you said. So you got to make sure you win every week. We don't really have a lot of context in whether you need to start this player right away. And if you need to start him, I guess it's Tyson Williams. I just I feel the safest with him out of these options. But if you're looking for an upside back, I'd probably go Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah,
Yep.
I fully agree with that, Josh.
If this was a non-guillotine league, my answer would be Elijah Mitchell right away. But because it's a guillotine league, I'm going to go Tyson Williams. You got to worry about winning right away. And that's Williams for me. He's the most likely to help contribute to that. PPR, if that changes your answer at all.
Not really.
A little bit.
Probably the best option there.
Yeah, a little bit. That does change because Tyson Williams, I don't expect to get a ton of receptions. So
he did get 3 catches. He got 3 catches, which is nice to see from a Ravens running back getting 3 catches. I do expect him to get about 3 catches every week.
Anthony said Simon owns more shirts than I have strands of hair. I'm not sure if you have not a lot of hair. You're saying I have a lot of shirts, but I do.
It'd be weird if that was
shirts.
switched. Simon owns more strands of hair than I have shirts.
Yeah, that would be weird. Anthony has a question for us as well. Who would you rather roster and redraft, Rondale Moore or Christian Kirk?
This question sucks, but I have an answer, and it's going to be different from my 2 colleagues here. I can almost guarantee it, but it's Rondale Moore. I would rather have Rondale Moore, even with Christian Kirk's awesome performance in week 1 where he scored 2 touchdowns. I think Moore is going to become more and more involved in this offense. But I think he only played like 12 snaps and got 4 or 5 catches. So I think he's going to get more and more involved. I think he's electric. I'd rather take the upside shot on Rondale Moore personally, but I understand Christian Kirk's safer. So if you guys might go
John Luke, do you agree with Josh here or are you going Christian Kirk?
I do agree with Josh that this question sucks.
Okay, I was about to say.
This is tough. Honestly, I think realistically we're looking at like a 50-50 here. Christian Kirk did just have the 2 touchdowns, but apart from that, their stat lines were kind of
really
similar. Yeah, and Rondale Moore is a rookie wide receiver, so like I even that out a little bit. That this is his first NFL game. I would still probably go Christian Kirk, but
too. He's so explosive.
Yeah, I would maybe go Rondale Moore for upside, but I don't know. It would be hard to pass up Christian Kirk too. So
Kirk's safer.
Kirk feels safer to me.
Yeah, this one's a little bit tough for me. JL, you hit on one of the points I was going to talk about. For Christian Kirk, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 70 yards. For Rondale Moore, 5 targets, 4 receptions, 68 yards. The reason we're talking about Christian Kirk right now is the touchdowns. That being said, one of the knocks on Rondale Moore coming in was his size, and that does limit him in the red zone. So it may not be a coincidence that Christian Kirk was the guy with the 2 touchdowns instead of Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore's 5'7", 181. That's a more difficult target to hit when you get down in the red zone. Not that Christian Kirk's huge. He's like
5'11", 200.
Yeah, something like that. But those 4 inches do make a difference. So I'm going to go Christian Kirk. Josh, I hear you that the upside's there for Rondale Moore, but I like the touchdown upside for Christian Kirk a little bit better in this offense. So I'm going to go Kirk here.
It's how I want to play my fantasy leagues. Just my bench guys, I want the most upside possible. But listen, I get it. I think this, like I keep saying, Christian Kirk's the safer move.
Yep. We got a question from Marty here. How much are you guys spending on Mitchell and Fab? So I know we've talked about this a little bit. It depends on your team. If you need a running back, I'm willing to go all out, spend 70 to 80% of your Fab if you need a running back. If you don't, if this is a depth piece, then it's more like 20 to 30 for me. What about you guys?
I think you summed it up perfectly, Simon. I'm willing to spend up to 72% of my Fab. 72%, lock it in. That's the most I'll spend on Elijah Mitchell. If I need a running back, if he's not going to be my starter next week, then the most I'm willing to spend is 36%.
36%.
What if your RB2 is Kenneth Gainwell?
Oh, that means you need a running back. That means you're spending that upper tier amount of money. You're spending closer to 72.
Hypothetically, say you're in an experts league that's really important to you, and you drafted J.K. Dobbins and Cam Akers
up
and
against
Kenneth
Andy
Gainwell.
Barron.
You're spending 70. You're spending 72.
72
is what I would probably spend, and I think that's the league where all 3 of us are in. So
I
hope we're paying up for him, right?
Yeah, I would pay a little bit more, 40 to 50, and even exactly Simon's range for if you need running back.
Kyle's got another question for us. Same league as his last one. So PPR 8-man, start 3 running backs and 3 wide receivers. Would you trade AB and Tyson for Evans? So I'm guessing Antonio Brown and Tyson Williams for Mike Evans. His starting wide receivers are Woods, Brown, and Chase. Ayuk and Shenault on the bench.
You are undefeated today, Kyle, with these questions.
This is great. Hey, it's an 8-man league. Mike Evans is going to have much better weeks ahead of him. You could make an argument that Antonio Brown's actually going to be the second most targeted receiver in that offense behind Chris Godwin. I am making this trade in an 8-man league. I'm willing to do it.
Me too. I'm doing it. But I'm high on Evans. I know not a lot of people are high on Evans, but
you're high on Brown too, though, right?
I am high on Brown as well. I like both of these players. Like this is not a slam dunk trade for me because I think Brown's gonna have a great year. But the Evans touchdown upside is still there, and I think it's still coming. So I'm going Mike Evans. John Luke, where are you going here?
Honestly, they're targeted a very similar amount. Since AB has been on this team, they have had very similar target lines. I would maybe stay on the AB Tyson side of this trade. I think Evans is more talented, but I don't know that the situation that they're in that we're gonna see like a massive edge that Evans gets over AB.
And I say take this trade because I also have more context into this league, which is awesome to have. But he's loaded at running back. Tyson Williams is like his 5th running back in this league, so maybe 5th or 6th. So just knowing that, I'm willing to take the shot on Evans, even though I think Antonio Brown's going to have a solid year.
If you believe Mike Evans is an upgrade at wide receiver, then make this trade with the running backs that you have. Josh, that was a great point over there. J-Wall has a question for us. He wants to know, should he try to trade for J-Rob after this down week for him? He knows Hyde is annoying, but do we expect him to stay healthy at 30 years old?
JL's shaking his head. I'm nodding my head. So I think we're on different. I guess I'll start. I said
I'll go in the middle.
I would trade for J-Rob in the right trade. I'm not overpaying for this guy, but if there's someone out there that is like, J-Rob's done, this Carlos Hyde's going to get more carries throughout the year, James Robinson is going to get the most work for the Jaguars throughout the rest of the. I'm so super confident in this. He's going to have a good PPR year. He's going to get plenty of catches. I want J-Rob on my team. Yes, I am willing to trade for him.
So, JL, I'm keeping score over here with my hands on who does a more convincing argument because I don't have opinion. So far, Josh is winning, but he's also the only one that spoke. So what do you think?
That's true. Well, I don't think that we really know that James Robinson is going to get more carries than Carlos Hyde or targets.
More touches.
Okay, so opportunities.
More targets is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, they had similar targets. James Robinson had one more in this game this past week. I know it was a weird game script. Huh?
I thought Carlos Hyde had targets.
He had 2 targets, 2 receptions for 14 yards.
And I thought for some reason in my mind, James Robinson had more. I guess.
Oh, sorry. James Robinson had 6. I said one more. I meant one more reception.
That makes sense.
I don't know that the upside is really there for James Robinson. It really depends on the trade. Whether I would say, should you trade for J-Rob? Because of course, it's going to be a situation where it's probably worth it. But I'm not excited for J-Rob. I think there's too much uncertainty right now in that offense, how he's going to be used, that making a move right now is you're moving at a disadvantage point, in my opinion.
Get J-Rob on your team.
If you can, it depends on the price right now. Jail, I don't disagree with the points you're making, but I think you might be able to get him, especially in redraft, for a very reasonable price right now. You might be able to get J-Rob, and he's going to be fantasy relevant. We have a question from Sully in here. He says, looking to move Robert Woods for RB help in a Superflex tight end premium league, PPR scoring. Any backs that you suggest I target? So I'm guessing this is, it looks like it's not dynasty, like this is redraft. Are there any that immediately come to mind, similar value for Robert Woods?
Backs you could target. So Chris Carson, if you're able to get Chris Carson or someone, Chris Carson, I'm doing that all day. Woods for Chris Carson, yes, please. But that might be the upper echelon of what you're trying to get there.
I don't know if you're going to be able to do it now after this past week, but I would have loved to try and find a way to get Joe Mixon for Robert Woods.
Anthony said Chris Carson.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. Anthony came in and said Chris Carson.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I didn't even see. I swear to God, I didn't see that. That's crazy.
You guys finish each other's sandwiches.
Go ahead, Jail.
I forget what I was saying.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I would have loved to. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that now after the week that Mixon had. You're probably going to have to spend up. But I would have loved to try and target someone like that. Would you guys do a trade, Robert Woods for DeAndre Swift? after this past week?
Yeah,
absolutely.
What about Damian Harris?
No. But if you can get Damian Harris plus, I'm all about that.
There was a report yesterday that he's going to see a reduced role after that fumble. Read into that however you want. I don't know.
But where's the ball going to go? We talked about that a little bit. Ramondre Stevenson, who also fumbled, James White, who's a pass catching back.
Here's the thing. I know Ramondre Stevenson fumbled, but Damian Harris fumbled in a situation where the coaches were like, whatever you do, don't freaking fumble the ball.
He lost the game.
Yeah. It literally lost them the game. So it's a little bit of a different situation. I don't think I could do Damian Harris, but Miles Sanders, I'm about Miles Sanders for Robert Woods. I'll take Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would do that. I am biased against Miles Sanders a little bit. I feel like I'm so down on him, but I think it's probably a fair trade.
I think Miles Sanders, Myles Gaskin, that's where the value lies for getting value for Robert Woods. And we talked about it a little bit with Sully before our previous stream, but I am nervous for Robert Woods going forward. I know he scored that touchdown, but that connection between Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford looked fantastic. I think they've taken the next level together. They are actually really good friends, and going forward,
they're getting pretty serious.
They're getting pretty serious. They are in a full-blown relationship. They're about to be Facebook official here. They're putting it on the social medias. That connection, Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, if someone doesn't realize yet, but everyone realized because it was primetime NFL games, go get Cooper Kupp. And I'm nervous for Robert Woods, even though this offense is going to be good. So
yeah,
that's the only saving grace, I think, for Robert Woods. But I am definitely willing to trade him for a running back if you need one going forward.
Simon's internet cut out, so he will join us if he can. Otherwise, we'll keep rolling on these questions here. Get some J-Rob opinions. Who needs them? The poopy Dutch boy. Anthony says J-Rob is good. They will be trailing often. He'll be a roller coaster ride. Yeah, and I could very well be wrong with James Robinson here. My point is more so that we just don't know, and that uncertainty worries me when you're going in and trading for, because it just depends on who you're giving up, and that's going to be the biggest factor here.
But then we got the opposite side of the argument right above Anthony's comment there with J-Rob is a bum.
That's true. Very, very succinct argument. I like that.
And then Ricky coming in saying J-Rob will have more opportunities. Weird game. Robinson got 64% of the snaps, but Urban Meyer is completely goofy. So we don't really, that's the biggest issue here, right?
Yeah.
I will say that I do believe James Robinson is going to be a good PPR back going forward, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, it's a valid opinion. Phil YD.
What's up, Phil?
I love the avatar.
YD?
Phil YD. Do I trade Derrick Henry, Allen Robinson, and Chris Godwin for Dalvin Cook, Mike Evans, and Robert Woods? Okay, hold on. Let's break this down a second.
Look, so Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, I'm putting Dalvin Cook above him. So we got that. Dalvin Cook's a better one in that evaluation. For me, Allen Robinson's above Mike Evans, so that evens it out. So what it comes down to for me is Chris Godwin versus Robert Woods, and it is Chris Godwin. So I'm taking the Derrick Henry, Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin side of this trade, but it's very close. I'm assuming this is a redraft PPR league. I'm taking Derrick Henry, Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin side.
Yeah, I think I would lean that side too. Man, Chris Godwin and Tom Brady really did have a good connection, and so I'd probably stick with him.
I think Chris Godwin's going to be the guy for this offense going forward. Not the guy. I mean, it's going to get spread around. Mike Evans is going to get work. Antonio Brown's going to work. Gronk's going to get work. But Chris Godwin is the safety blanket for this team.
Yeah. Here's my thing with this trade is that if you're trading Derrick Henry away, you're trading him on a down week. And so that while most rational people are going to say, okay, that doesn't really affect value. It's Derrick Henry. You can have one bad game. It does affect mentality. It's simple psychology. It's going to affect how people value. That's the latest trend, right? What's the most recent trend? And that really does affect people's perception. And so if I have Derrick Henry, Allen Robinson, and Chris Godwin, I'm already sort of leaning that side. That's going to give me edges. I'm just going to wait until Derrick Henry has a better week because it really wasn't fully Henry's fault this game. The Arizona defense was just amazing. And so he's going to have better weeks.
take into account just like you're definitely downgrading at wide receiver here, in my opinion. It's absolutely a downgrade at wide receiver. Is the like downgrade on 2 wide receivers worth the slight upgrade in running back? And if you think Derrick Henry's done, which I do not, then maybe that is worth it. But I couldn't make this trade. I couldn't make this trade. But it's close. It's super close.
Yep. Anthony says Carson will be fair in Dynasty Sully. Tim says, hey. Xavier won the game. Own the narrative.
Own the narrative.
Own the narrative. MB in here says, should I try and use Mike Davis to get a panic sell like James Robinson, I'm assuming, or maybe even Naji or who's that? Allen Robinson? Is that AR12?
AR12, yeah. So he's saying he should use Mike Davis as trade bait, kind of try to sell Mike Davis to try to get James Robinson or maybe even Naji or Allen Robinson. So this is kind of a weird question where yeah, get Naji and Allen Robinson, sure, for Mike Davis wherever you can. I don't know what you're going to add into there. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now here's more of the question. Mike Davis, James Robinson, we're comparing these two. I personally would rather have James Robinson. I think he is a slight, maybe even a tier above, personally. But I could see someone being on the other end where they think Mike Davis is the more valuable running back going forward.
I'm on the other end of that. Personally, I think in the same way they both have someone on the other, complimentary running back who's going to siphon off, opportunities away from them. But Mike Davis was used much more heavily than James Robinson, and I trust that he will continue to be used in that way. Both teams are probably going to be not have great
negative game scripts.
Yeah, negative game scripts. So not super excited for either of these, but I would rather have Mike Davis.
I'm going to say this. Mike Davis in a negative game script is going to be, I think Cordell Patterson is a little bit more scary to Mike Davis than Carlos Hyde is to James Robinson in negative game scripts. If we both expect that going forward, James Robinson, but you said that earlier, you're not even sure if James Robinson is the for sure pass catching back for the Jaguars. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Now, in terms of Naji Harris, go get Naji Harris. Pair Mike Davis with some lower tier. I mean, if you compare, let's say you pair Mike Davis with Robbie Anderson for Naji Harris. You doing that, JL?
Mike Davis and Robbie Anderson for Naji?
Yeah, I'm doing that
all day.
Yeah. So if you can pull off some kind of crazy crap like that, I am in. Let's do that all day. But without having a little bit more context for the team, it's kind of tough to see where you can go because you're not going to get Mike Davis straight up for Naji Harris.
Yeah, Mike Davis just didn't blow up enough week 1 to really be that enticing a bait. Great question, though.
Absolutely.
Hey, if you're liking this, we're going to do this every Tuesday and Thursday after our fantasy football game show, our 3 p.m. stream. Make sure you like and subscribe. Like to this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here every weekday doing games, talking fantasy football. Here every Tuesday, Thursday, doing fantasy football office hours, answering your questions, and a bunch of other fantasy content. So make sure you support us, or else we're not going to answer your questions.
You better make sure. Listen to us.
Better make sure.
So it looks like Schmidt had a yep. That's the one.
Yeah, all right. So not sure if you guys discussed this yet, but what are your thoughts on Trey Sermon? Talks that he was scratched because he did not offer the value the other running backs did on special teams.
I think this is a great point. We didn't really get to discuss it on our previous stream. I don't think we've discussed it yet, really. I don't know if I know your perspective yet, but I'll just give my perspective real fast, JL. Trey Sermon is just as valuable as Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell, 54%, Trey Sermon 46%. I think Trey Sermon has just as good of an opportunity as Elijah Mitchell does going forward. We saw it out of Elijah Mitchell. So yes, I'm giving him the slight nod, but Trey Sermon has the higher draft capital. I think there's a chance that he was benched. Simply because Elijah Mitchell's better on special teams and a better all around back, while Trey Sermon could play that Raheem Mostert role going forward. So I definitely want Trey Sermon on my teams. Both of these guys.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they'll end up splitting carries. I think the only reason Trey Sermon didn't really suit up is because, like Shanahan said, they have 3 running backs that have their roles for each game, and he had those filled. And so I would slightly lean on the Elijah Mitchell side, but I agree with Josh otherwise. Completely otherwise.
Slightly. We're both slightly on the Elijah Mitchell side.
Oh, I thought you were slightly on the Trey Sermon side. So I fully agree with Josh.
Yeah, I'm slightly on the Elijah Mitchell side.
All right, then we are in sync. Fantasy Future said J. Rob prefers the term hobo. Good to know. If I ever meet him, I'll be sure to call him a hobo.
Hey, what's up, Hobo Robinson? Yeah.
Yeah. MB said I'd make that trade if you can use Evans for name alone for a trade for someone better. Sure.
I guess this was in regard to the big Derrick Henry, Allen Robinson,
Evans
Chris
one,
Godwin, Dalvin Cook, Mike Evans, Robert Woods trade. Again, I'm staying on that Derrick Henry, Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin side.
Yeah. All right, Josh, this is a good one. Are you guys generally cutting Michael Pittman? What do you think?
I'm not cutting him yet. I am hanging on for at least another week. I want to see how this offense kind of unfolds. I don't think it really got a chance to show what it could do. I am still a Michael Pittman fan. I'm trying my best not to cut him. Now, if I had to, and he's like the last guy on my lineup and it's Elijah Mitchell and I need a running back, yeah, I'm willing to do that, but I am trying to hold on to Michael Pittman.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think we just have to see who Carson Wentz gravitates towards. I think Michael Pittman's probably the most talented back on that team. I don't expect Pascal to get 2 touchdowns every week, so I'm not cutting him unless I need to.
Zach Pascal's worth of the pickup, though.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
All right, Ricky Butts in here. If you knew Justin Fields was starting week 4, how much value would you put on A-Rob? Jay Glazer just said Bears are leaning to giving him the start week 4 versus the Lions at home. Man, if that happens, I'll be happy because that's what I've been saying all offseason is that I expect right past week 4 that he'll get the start. So what do you think, Josh?
If I knew Justin Fields was starting week 4, it does not change a ton for Allen Robinson in my mind. I think with Andy Dalton, maybe the Bears have more passing opportunities, but Justin Fields is going to provide just a more efficient offense. I think more just plays in general. So it's pretty much a wash for me. It's a wash.
I'm a little bit on the other side. I do think it adds value to Allen Robinson. Justin Fields looked better. He's still a rookie. Andy Dalton just did look
good.
Great.
Don't get me wrong.
He looked good.
Justin Fields looked good. I want him to be the starter for the Bears. It's better for the Bears.
Yeah. So if he gets the start, then I'm going to be a little bit more excited for Allen Robinson. But it doesn't change a bunch because I think in my opinion, he's been drafted with the assumption that Fields was going to be starting at some point.
And I don't know if we've quite seen what Fields looks like as a full-on passer yet. So that it's a little concerning. But again, Justin Fields deserves to be the starter for Chicago going forward.
Yeah. Ricky Butt said Wayne Gallman is going to be a bigger problem for Davis than Hyde for J-Rob if I had to bet. I sort of agree. I agree they're both going to be problems for both of them. Probably more than we expect.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely correct.
Brock in here said, do I trade Austin Eckler, Trey Sermon, and Kenny Galladay for Amari Cooper, Miles Sanders, and Jamal Williams?
So, hey, look, we broke it down last time. Let's just break it down real fast. Amari Cooper way over Kenny Galladay, right? Let's just start there. Austin Eckler over Miles Sanders, but I think it's closer than Kenny Galladay and Amari Cooper for me. And Jamal Williams, Trey Sermon, I think that's pretty close. I am on the second side of this trade. I'm on the Amari Cooper, Miles Sanders, Jamal Williams side. But again, it's a close one. It's a close one. It's a really close one.
That is a very, very close one. Galladay is the part that sticks out to me.
Yes.
So I'm assuming he's the one with Galladay. So I would probably make that trade. It depends how your running back situation is. Assuming that you have other running backs to back up or to fill in for Eckler and Sermon, you're getting Sanders and Jamal Williams back. I think Jamal Williams would be a good flex spot. Miles Sanders probably start week in, week out, but I wouldn't be, if those are, I'm hoping those aren't your 2 starting running backs, but if they were, I would probably keep your side, which feels bad.
Yeah, it's just Amari Cooper he proved it again this week. He's going to have a great season. And Miles Sanders, he proved something to me this week. And I think all the guys on side A, Austin Eckler, Trey Sermon, and Kenny Galladay, they kind of disappointed. And I'm definitely taking the second side of this trade.
All right. Let's see. Anthony said 48% side A.
We're playing poll perception now. 35%. Let's go. 3-5.
NMB said my team is Kyler Murray, D-Hop, Keenan Allen, Dalvin, Mike Davis, Kareem Hunt, Julio, KCD, defense, Goddard, benches, Connor, Tony Jones, Latavius Murray, and I'm guessing also is Mooney, and then Pittman. Was this a previous question?
This is a good team. I have no idea, but I was just kind of evaluating the team real fast for me, and this is a good team. I don't know how many teams are in the team, but yeah, this is a good team. This is gonna be a competitive team throughout the season. I'm sure. I mean, if it's a 12-team league, then it's
solid. Yeah, I love the Kyler nuke stack you got. Ricky West says, I've never understood the Trey Sermon love. Thought Mitchell was better in pre-draft evals. Yeah, I think a lot of the postseason and the college football postseason, the playoffs really affected Sermon's value coming into the draft, just because a lot of people were watching that. A lot of people who don't watch college football otherwise, or watch very little of it, and they saw him popping off, but they didn't see the rest of the season where he wasn't as consistent. But Elijah Mitchell has been, touted by a lot of scouts and a lot of smart minds in the fantasy industry as well. So
he's quick. He's fast.
He's super quick.
Kyle Shanahan offense wants that, and he offers pass catching upside. I'm all about it.
Yeah. Jay asked a stupid question. What's your favorite type of milk?
2%.
C, none.
2%.
None. Almond or soy, I guess. I'm giving the edge to almond. Why are you making that face?
Let's move on. I just don't want to embarrass you in front of all these people that are watching, and talk about more about almond or skim milk or whatever the hell you
skin milk.
Yeah, I don't know. What did you say? Almond milk and what?
Milk. Almond milk and soy milk. You'd rather have
soy milk? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you'd rather have milk from a cow's titty than an almond. What do you say? You afraid of almonds?
Yeah, I love titties. Anyway, Jay came in and said, "Who would you rather have as a bench stash in redraft, Terrace Marshall or Rondale Moore?" I think they're both second-round picks in the NFL draft, both rookies. They're both high-caliber wide receivers. They're very different, though. Rondale Moore is more of a slot guy. He's smaller. Terrace Marshall's a big guy. Yeah, he's a lot taller. They're both very fast. But they're both in similar situations where they have other wide receivers you have to worry about. I would say Rondale Moore is probably in the better offense, but I don't know. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I think, I agree with everything you said. I think
because it's facts. I'm spitting it
because it's absolutely objectively true. Yeah. But I like Terrace Marshall a lot more than Rondale Moore, just in terms of talent and upside alone. If Terrace Marshall, breaks out and has the year that if he lives up to the potential that we've been expecting him, it's a much higher ceiling than Rondale Moore and the expectations that we have for him, just because of what you said, Josh, the types of receivers they are. And that in fantasy, that doesn't always necessarily translate. Maybe Rondale Moore in that slot position is able to make more happen than Terrace Marshall, but I'm way more excited for Terrace Marshall. And I think the Panthers offense is good. They looked very good. Sam Darnold definitely has taken a step. I'm now become a Sam Darnold truther somehow. It's a weird world.
I have trouble with this question personally. I lean Terrace Marshall. I just because of what you said. I think there's a little bit more upside there. And I said it earlier. If we're talking about bench stashes and redraft, I am always going for the upside over the conservative play. And I think Terrace Marshall has a little bit more upside.
Yep. Yeah, completely agree. Anthony says Marshall for him.
Hey, let's go.
Anthony says Josh, check your Twitter DMs.
I'll check him out.
Sent you
I'll
some
check
pictures.
him out. Maybe not the same. I'll check it out. Whatever. Oh, my phone's dead. So
later. Ricky Buss
I'll check it out later.
He's going to take the Cooper side of that trade. Brock said he's got Dalvin Cook. Then I'm making that trade. Great question, Brock.
I don't really remember it.
It's the Cooper one.
Oh, yeah.
Austin Eckler.
Make that trade all day.
Andy said, did Simon have to go back to the toilet? He said it was his internet, but honestly, it could have been his toilet. He could have trusted a fart too much. MB says 12 team.
It was a 12-team league. He was telling us his team, and that team.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's a solid team.
12-team league.
JML Sports in here. What up, JML?
Easy for me.
Jared Cook or Jawan Johnson?
Jared Cook, 100%. I was talking about Jared Cook going into the season where I think he could have been a great value, and I think it only got proven. I think he's going to be great in this offense that needs a tight end. Jawan Johnson, on the other hand, I know he scored. Didn't he score 2 touchdowns, I believe? But I'm not interested in him.
3 receptions on 3 targets for 21 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Jared Cook's going to be so much more consistent and also has touchdown upside himself. Jared Cook all day in this question.
Jared Cook, for comparison here, had 5 receptions on 8 targets, 56 yards.
8 targets for a tight end is fantastic, guys.
Yeah, if you failed math in school, that's more than 3. So considerably more. I would definitely go Jared Cook as well. He was just looking good. He was featured in that offense, and he had a good connection with Herbert. So I agree with Josh here.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Question was for better or worse. Who to use to trade for the panic sells? In my question, I used Mike Davis. Okay, so he was saying, so his question earlier, which was using a player for trade bait in order to get Naji Harris or who was the other ones? James Robinson. There's like two other ones in there. I can't remember.
Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson was the third one. And
now listen, if you could get Mike Davis, again, we're on opposite sides of the spectrum, but I'm trading Mike Davis for James Robinson in my mind. That's just me personally.
Is there any other players on this team that you would try and dangle out there?
So my concern, is really your running back position. Dalvin Cook's great, but Mike Davis is your second running back, and behind that's Kareem Hunt, who's going to be serviceable, but without a Chubb injury, he's not going to be an elite option whatsoever. So I am nervous about your second running back. I'm probably not making a move for Allen Robinson. I'm definitely not giving up Mike Davis at plus to get Allen Robinson in that situation. So you might have to hang on to Mike Davis, honestly, unless you're able to.
Maybe package with go trade with someone who has the inverse situation, and maybe package like a Keenan Allen and Mike Davis for another combo where you're.
But then that really hurts his wide receivers. I feel like almost too much.
Yeah, he's got D-Hop, Keenan Allen, Julio.
Yeah. I think you're sitting tight unless there's a perfect situation out there.
Yeah, unless you can find a trade there. I don't see anyone that stands out. Yeah,
you need running back help, but I don't really know how it's going to work out, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Let's see. Timothy said, how do I snipe Mitchell on the waiver?
You got money. You got this budget, and you can determine how much money you want to spend on him. Now I'm joking. I don't know how your league is formatted in terms of if it's fab or if it's waiver priority, but how do you snipe him on the waiver?
Go and
you try your best.
Yeah, go take out your league mates one by one. Oh wait, I'm one of his league mates. Oh no. Played myself. Ricky Butt says, don't sleep on Cole Kmet. Fourth most targets at tight end, tied with Kelsey for 7. Better matchups coming. Yeah, Cole Kmet is definitely worth a pickup this week.
Cole Kmet is on my list of people that you should target on the waiver wire if you need tight end help.
Yep. Agreed. JML says, is Sutton worth trading for? McKissick and Ruggs would be my offer for him.
Yes. Yeah, because McKissick and Ruggs are both drop candidates pretty much, and Sutton is going to have so many.
I wouldn't be dropping Ruggs personally.
I'm just drop candidates.
What'd you say?
Drop candidates.
Candidate.
If there's I'm dropping Ruggs in a lot of situations for Elijah Mitchell.
I'm fine with that if you need a running back.
Yeah.
But I would still keep it open for that upside play. And hopefully they learn how to target someone other than Darren Waller and get Bryan Edwards and Ruggs more involved here. Anthony here. Would you start Bobby Woods at Indy or Terry McLaurin at New York? What do you think, Josh?
I'm sticking with Terry McLaurin here. I know you might be concerned because Ryan Fitzpatrick's out, but I think Terry McLaurin is still an elite wide receiver. Robert Woods, his situation is concerning me. Well, I think he's going to be fine. He's going to be just fine. His upside's really limited because I do think that Cooper Kupp kind of is going to be that number 1 wide receiver for the Rams going forward. So I'm starting Terry McLaurin over Bobby Woods all day here.
Yeah, I would probably too. Oh man, that's unfortunate because that Rams offense just looks so good. I really want Robert Woods to live up to that. I'm really hoping that he's able to make more of a role or carve out more of a role in this offense with Matt Stafford. But for what we know now, I would stick with Terry McLaurin.
Yeah,
it's a tough one. It's a good question.
In my mind, yeah, it's a good question, but you got to stick with Terry in my mind still.
Rich Chipmunk in here. What do I do with Calvin Ridley? Good question. I think most Ridley managers are probably asking themselves that. Anyone with a Falcons player. We've had a couple questions on videos and stuff. Josh, what are you doing with Calvin Ridley if he's on your team?
Relax. 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 No, it's going to be all good for Calvin Ridley. I understand people are concerned with Matt Ryan, maybe on the back end of his career, maybe not quite the same guy it was previously. I think he's going to be able to support Calvin Ridley going forward. I actually have no concerns for Calvin Ridley. I know he's playing Tampa Bay this upcoming week, which is a little concerning, but Calvin Ridley is in your lineup. You don't do anything. You're not going to sell low on him. So you hold and just have confidence. He's going to be good.
Yep, I completely agree. The thing is that this Falcons offense really, I think it was Adam Levitan put out a tweet that was it was a chart of all the teams' pass rate versus expectation, and the Falcons were like bottom 3, so they just didn't pass enough, honestly. And it doesn't really make sense given their offense, given their scheme, and the talent they have on that team. It doesn't make sense why they're not passing, and so I'm gonna err on the side of reason here and hope that the Falcons turn this around and are able to start passing it. And if I have Pitts, if I have Ridley, if I have Gage, I'm just holding and waiting and seeing. Calvin Ridley got hyper targeted in the beginning, and then it sort of died off towards the later half of the game. So
another point I want to make real fast. You brought up Pitts. It sucks to see that game, but I do think you're going to see better weeks ahead. He's got a lot of upside. And if you believed in Pitts before and the person that owns Pitts now is kind of losing faith, might be a good opportunity to buy for him. Buy him, tight end position kind of sucks. I think he's going to be a top 10 tight end at the end of the season.
Yeah, I would go trade for Calvin Ridley if I could, honestly. I just believe in the talent, and he was targeted enough that I think it'll even out. It'll average out here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Ricky Butts, start Ridley always.
Always.
IDP Army, Trey Sermon, the GOAT. And Robert Fisher in here, Matt Ryan at TB or Carson Wentz versus LA this week. I know.
I hate this question.
This will be so much. We're going to wrap up after this question here. Josh, what are you thinking? Matt Ryan at Tampa Bay or Carson Wentz versus LA?
I hate that question. If I had to start one, I think I'm still I don't know. Yeah, I'm sticking with Matt Ryan. I'm going with Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan has better weapons. I think that the Colts could turn into just a running game, essentially. I think both Tampa Bay and the Rams have great defenses, so that's a wash in my opinion. But I'm going to go with Matt Ryan in a bounce back, hopefully, against the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just it's a much easier matchup. The over-under on this game is 52.5. And so I'm expecting it to be a pretty, a shootout like we saw last Thursday against the Cowboys. And, the Falcons are not favored. The line on this game is plus 12.5.
Holy
so, yeah, that is a massive, massive line.
12.5.
12.5.
I guess it's in Tampa Bay, but oh my lord,
it's in Tampa Bay. But yeah, the Tampa Bay is ranked 27th against QBs in fantasy, and so I would be fine rolling out Matt Ryan and hoping that he just pass more this week. Carson Wentz against LA is scary. LA has been very good against QBs. They're 5th ranked against fantasy QBs, and we just don't. He didn't look that great this past weekend, and so going against another stout defense, I'd be tempering my expectations with him.
Yeah.
JML says, you
Matt
guys
Ryan.
have been great. Appreciate the content. You got my like and subscribe. Thanks, JML. We appreciate that so much. Great questions. Keep coming in. Keep bringing us those questions. We love answering them. And thanks to everyone who came in.
Fantasy.
Josh really does. He doesn't shut the hell up.
Yeah.
He talks to, I swear, you could talk to a wall about fantasy.
I do. Typically. Like this wall over here. This wall's great at just being a good listener.
That wall over there, he's a jerk.
No, that wall, don't even get me started.
Don't even get me started. But yes, thanks to everyone coming in today and bring us your great questions. Love it. We'll be here every Tuesday and Thursday around 4:15ish after our 3 p.m. Fantasy football game show, which is every weekday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, where we play games. We talk fantasy football. We give advice. We goof around. It's a good time. So please like this video and subscribe. Super easy way to support us and come back. We'll keep giving you some good information. Josh will try.
I will give you only good information.
Only good.
The guy over here is you have to worry about a little bit.
That's true.
Keep in mind, trading does make fantasy fun as well. So trade away, get those trades in because you're gonna have a good time when you do. You're gonna have a good time.
Yes.
We got one more question here.
All right, let's get to this one question.
Yeah, I like it. That's a good one too.
All right, Jbo 2K. Love the name there. Do I start? Also, the avatar. You guys look like you're having a ball.
Ooh,
I love it.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Do I start DeAndre Swift or Daryl Henderson this week? Joshua.
This one's an easy one for me. DeAndre Swift proved that he can be a good running back even in this poor Detroit Lions offense. He's going to get a ton of targets with Jared Goff just dumping the ball off. And I think he's going to be more, just closer to being 100% next week. It's DeAndre Swift or Daryl Henderson pretty easily in my mind.
Yeah, I definitely lean Swift on this one. It's not by much, though. The Lions are not favored in this game. They're playing the Packers on Monday. Excuse me. And wow, the line on this game, 10.5, plus 10.5. So
with the Packers just heinous showing this last weekend, I'm surprised by that 10.5 point line a little bit.
Vegas is very much expecting the Packers to have a bounce back. I was very surprised by that too when I saw it earlier.
They will, though. They're going to have a bounce back.
They're going to get it together. Yeah. I don't know how quickly it'll be, if it'll be a 1 week turnaround. But Packers aren't also very good against the run. So DeAndre Swift might have a good role. I'm honestly fine starting both these guys. I would give the edge to DeAndre Swift, but Daryl Henderson looked good this past week. He's playing against Indy, which is middle of the pack against running back. And it's supposed to be they're a little bit more favorited, so maybe the game script goes a little bit towards Daryl Henderson's way. But yeah, I think they're both worthy of starting. I'd try and find a way to have them both in your lineup.
The beautiful thing about DeAndre Swift is even in a negative game script, which he's going to have all year, he's going to be a relevant back because he's such a good pass catcher and he's playing with Jared Goff.
Yeah, agreed. Maria says JML Sports knows what's up. That's true. JML smart. He's got all the facts. All right, that's going to do it for us today. We will be back Thursday with Fantasy Football Office Hours. Good luck on those waivers tonight. Get those waiver claims in and let us know who you got tomorrow.
Yeah, let's know.
Let us know.
Twitter. I love you.
Twitter, Discord, anything. Follow us at FYF Josh, FYS John Luke.
That's me.
Yeah, and we'll see you later. Have a good night.
Our fantasy.
Our fantasy. Yeah.
Hey,
give it all you got.
Bye bye.